Hello everyone, you are in the InStyle Knitting Studio. Today we will knit this bunny hat for girls. This hat is very easy to knit. Here, essentially, we will knit a regular hat, plus ears and ties like these in a braid form. Additionally, we will need to knit the ears. A fleece bow needs to be sewn on, and fleece should also be sewn inside the ears. I also sewed in a lining here. I will be attaching it. However, initially, I never attach the lining. I try, to wear it without the lining when it's not too cold. Then, I sew in the lining for winter. So friends, if you like this hat, let's get started. What will we need for the work? I have yarn of 100 grams. The yarn is 280 meters. This is the yarn I had left after knitting a sweater. I decided to use it for the hat. A hook of 3.5, scissors, a measuring tape, a needle with a large eye, and a notebook with a pen for calculations. We will also need fleece for the ears and the bow. Regular white sewing thread with a needle to attach the fleece to the ears. White thread for edging the hat and for the nose, and black for the eyelashes. Before we knit the hat, we need to take some measurements. We will need the child's head circumference. If you have a child, you can measure their head circumference. So, we measure the head circumference and take a hat that fits well on the child's head. An old one, yes, and we measure the height of the hat. If that's not possible, you can calculate everything yourself. Essentially, there is also a chart. A good chart. I have shown it to you more than once. It is freely available on the internet. Here, it is all by age. Here is the circle of the head for a certain age of a child, even for an adult. The diameter of the bottom, the depth of the cap. Here, everything seems to be calculated. But I will now tell you how to make the calculations yourself. In principle, you can use this table too. I knitted this cap for a head circumference of 49 centimeters. The second cap that I will knit now will be for a head circumference of 47 centimeters. So, we need the head circumference. My head circumference is 47 centimeters. If you are going to make a lining for the cap, take the head circumference a little bigger. Take about 1 centimeter more because the lining takes up some space. But I do not plan to knit a lining, so 47 centimeters is what I will keep. To calculate the diameter of the bottom, which we will need later, we divide by 3.14. This is the number pi. It turns out to be approximately 15 centimeters. This is the diameter of the cap's bottom. Next we divide the head circumference of 47 centimeters by 3. After that, we add 1 or 2 centimeters. This gives us the depth of the cap. If there is no way to measure it from the old cap, 17.7 centimeters. This is approximately the height or depth of the cap. These are the calculations we need to do, and, basically, you can knit everything. Let's compare my data with the table I showed you. I have 47 centimeters for the head circumference, here it is. The diameter of the bottom is 15 centimeters, just as I calculated. The depth of the cap is 16 to 17 centimeters. I measured 17.7 centimeters, since I added 2 centimeters. If I had added 1 centimeter, it would have worked out like that too. So, I will knit roughly according to my calculations. And now let's get started on knitting. Before knitting, I want to say that I will be knitting in the round. I will connect the rows using slip stitches and chain stitches. The chain stitches will count towards the total number of stitches. And I will connect the rows. How will I do that? With an unusual join. Look, I will alternate. That is, In one row, I will crochet a double crochet under the chain stitches. In the next row, I will crochet the double crochet a little further. Then again, under the double crochet. The following row will be a bit further. We will knit. I will show you. You can knit by turning the fabric, and then you will get a smoother seam. But the fabric will be so textured. I believe you know how it looks. The hook is of size 3.5. We form a magic ring. We knit one chain stitch. This counts as if we've knitted the first double crochet, since my chain stitches are included in the total number of stitches. I also need to crochet 11 double crochets into the ring. We tighten the ring and make a slip stitch. I connect in the stitch of the first crocheted double crochet, not in the chain stitch, but in the top of the first double crochet. I make a slip stitch. As a result, I have 12 double crochets, including the chain stitches. We move on to the next row and make 2 chain stitches. This becomes our first double crochet of the second row. Next, we will make increases. Look, we had 12 double crochets. Hence, in each subsequent row, I will have 12 more double crochets than in the previous one. That is, in each row, we will add 12 double crochets. If you have a different number of columns here, then there will be that many more columns in each row. Therefore, the second row consists of increases. That is, into each column of the previous row, we knit 2 double crochets. This is our first double crochet. And we do not forget to alternate with the chain stitches that I mentioned earlier. Look, in this row, I will crochet the chain stitches right here immediately. I will crochet a double crochet. Next, in each column of the previous row, we crochet 2 double crochets. As a result, there should be 24 double crochets in the second row. 22 double crochets are done. And here, chain stitches. In this row, I crochet the last 2 columns. As a result, I will have 24 double crochets. I connect each row. In the second column of this row, not in the chain stitch, but into the top of the crocheted column. We move on to the next row. 2 chain stitches for rising. In the third row, we will alternate increases with 1 double crochet. This is our first double crochet. In the previous row, we crocheted chain stitches. In this row, we will not crochet chain stitches. Look, we knit the second double crochet right here. That is, we do not crochet chain stitches, but knit a double crochet into the next stitch. And I immediately make an increase here. Another double crochet here. So, I start each row not with an increase, but with regular double crochets. Isn't that easier? Therefore, 1 double crochet is done. An increase, then 1 double crochet, an increase, and so on, until the end of the row. In the third row, we should have 36 double crochets, since there were 24 in the previous row. 24 plus 12 equals 36. I have 34 now. The last increase is done. I crochet right here. It turns out, air loops. Because we did not crochet the first stitch of the air loop at the beginning of the row. Therefore, at the end of the row we are crocheting air loops here. My last increase, 2 stitches. This is the third row with 36 double crochets. A slip stitch in the first. My stitch is in the top. 2 air loops. For the rise, we move on to the fourth row. In the last row, we did not crochet air loops at the beginning of the row. In this row, we will crochet the next stitch of the air loops here. And we will alternate this in every row. The fourth row will consist of 2 double crochets and an increase. That is, alternating between 2 double crochets and an increase. Here, I have 2 double crochets crocheted. The increase is right here in. And we will alternate this until the end of the row. In the third row, we had 36 double crochets. In the fourth row, there should be 48 double crochets since we add 12 double crochets in each row. Therefore, my last increase I will crochet right into the last stitch here. The air loop ends up here. As a result, 48 double crochets. And essentially, at the end of each row, I have an increase since I start the row not with an increase but with a regular stitch. I crochet a slip stitch into the top of the first crocheted stitch, 2 air loops for the rise. And in the last row, we crocheted the first stitch of the air loop. In this row, we will crochet our first stitch here. The fifth row will consist of alternating 3 double crochets and an increase. And we will continue to crochet until we reach the desired diameter of the bottom. I won't show all the rows anymore, but I think it's clear. That is, alternating, either crocheting or not crocheting the first stitch of the air loops. And in each row, we add 12 double crochets. Since originally, we started with 12 double crochets, the loops and rises are included in the total number of stitches, and with each row, the number of regular stitches increases between the increases. We knit until the diameter of the bottom reaches the calculated diameter. For me, that is 15 centimeters, but I will stop 2 centimeters short of 15. So I will knit a diameter of 13 centimeters. Later, I will explain why. For now, I will wrap this up. We will continue knitting in the next part, which will be released in just a couple of days. All the best.